This is UNSC AI serial number CTN 0452-9.
Spartans, welcome back. It's been a few weeks. I do apologize about that. Life will go ahead and do life things every now and again. But that's okay. We are back. I've released a few shorts in the time being some of them fun and random, some of them filled with knowledge and different things about the Halo universe. From other Halo media, specifically from the books, I've been super soaked into Halo The Edge of Dawn, and I've been having a hard time pulling away from it, gathering so much information from there. Regardless, today's video is going to be a great one. We are going to talk about the one and only third generation volitional AI CTN 0452-9, Cortana. She is one of, if not the most important character in the Halo universe, I'd say a part of the Holy Trinity. We're going to talk about her today, what she is, who she is, why she was created. This isn't going to be any kind of deep dive. This isn't going to be a 50 or 60 minute video about Cortana and everything she's done. I'm really just going to talk about who she is so we have a better knowledge of who and what she is and why she is so important. So, all right, Spartans, let's drop in, shall we? The first couple questions we're going to go into are some basic questions that everybody kind of has about Cortana. Who created her? What is she? Who is she? Is she unique? Was she built for a specific purpose? What can she do? And does she live forever since she is not a human? With these questions, we're going to dive into a handful of these and really flesh out exactly what's going on here with Cortana. And the first one that I really want to get into, which is a juicy one at the very least, is who created Cortana? Dr. Catherine Elizabeth Halsey was working for the Office of Naval Intelligence as their chief scientist. Office of Naval Intelligence, ONI for short, is similar to the FBI, CIA, Black Operations sort of group who pretty much run things behind the scenes in reality. Dr. Halsey was born on March 19th, 2492, and by 2507, she was working on her second doctoral thesis, meaning at the age of 15, she was working on her second PhD. Just to give you a perspective on how incredibly talented, intellectual, special Dr. Halsey was. Within 7 to 8 years, she became ONI's youngest scientific advisor ever. Being 22 or 23 years old, they were looking to this extremely young adult for a lot of their scientific needs. She created a model that predicted the collapse of the outer colonies. The UNSC had inner colonies that were, stronger, more unified people for the unified Earth government, but then they had the outer colonies where they were still laying roots and finding new planets. And there was a lot of piracy, there was a lot of insurrection. People didn't want to be controlled by the UEG anymore. She created a algorithm that predicted full outer colony collapse within 20 years. Rebellion, insurrection, piracy, all of the above, pretty much causing another dark age for humanity filled with death and destruction. By 2510, she arrives on the planet Reach, which is one of the massive strongholds of the human race, really. She undertook a project that she had been dreading, but also desiring, the Spartan 2 program. And of course, she also creates the Mjolnir project. So now that we know a little bit more of the background of Dr. Halsey, Cortana's creator, we can start to dive into the actual creation of Cortana. Dr. Halsey had created an AI in the past. Her name is Kalmaya, who she used quite a bit for various research, different things like that. But Cortana is different. We know that for the Spartan 2 program, she flash cloned the children abducted the real ones and replaced them with these flash clones, although they were subject to disease, sickness, and they died out. The clones, that is. Dr. Halsey was presented with different subjects to create an AI, but none of them really had the mental agility, the intellect that she was really looking for this AI that was being created for a specific purpose. Early in the year 2549, Dr. Halsey clones herself 20 times. With these 20 clones, she did it a little bit differently than the flash clones used on the Spartan candidate children. She replicated her own neural pathways, simulated electrical impulses, signals, perception, reasoning, and emotional response modules. But with these clones, she enhanced their neural physiology at the expense of biological functions. Meaning, when these clones came out, they had deformities. They were missing legs, arms, potentially crippled. I mean, anything but their brains had gone through some sort of damaged growth process, truly making their minds the center of the growth for the physiological body, making them the best that they truly can be. So now that we know a little bit more about how she was created and what happened in order to actually create something as intelligent and volitional as Cortana, let's talk about her capabilities and why she was even built in the first place. The humans were getting pretty beat up during the initial start of the Human Covenant War. The Spartans were making a massive dent, but they were the only ones that were really able to do anything besides a few people like Admiral Cole, Jacob Keyes, people like that. But those are two men against an entire covenant. The Spartans were tasked with Operation Red Flag. What this entailed is that the Spartans were going to capture an enemy ship, take it back to the home world, and try and capture one of the covenant hierarchs, one of the prophets, and force a truce. But not really knowing covenant technology all too well and not having anything that would be able to help them, Dr. Halsey was tasked with creating an AI that would help them, but not only help them, but be the first shipborne AI that will be able to be used on the battlefield, residing between the mind of the carrier and the armor that he wears. With this happening, Dr. Halsey creates Cortana. She is born on November 7th, 2549, just a few years before the events of Reach, which takes us into the events of Alpha Halo, Halo 2, Halo 3, and so on. So being built for Operation Red Flag, she is able to choose a Spartan, and of course, she chooses John, Spartan 117, the Master Chief, the GOAT. With some of her capabilities, she excels in intrusion software. So she is able to get into enemy technology, use it, crack codes, and really allow understanding of Covenant technology, but also use of Covenant technology. So when those Spartans board that ship, she is able to infiltrate, understand it within moments of being input into the system. She's able to decode, translate alien technologies, languages, but not only that, she's able to provide direct battlefield support to the Spartans, specifically to the Master Chief, enhanced reflexes, and just a better knowledge of what is going on around him and helping his perception. She is what is called a third generation volitional AI. Volitional just means smart, meaning that they have no limits on their dynamic memory processing matrix, meaning they can not only be taught incredibly vast wealth of information, but they can learn and comprehend from their surroundings, which is not something that typical dumb AIs can do. When she first is born, she takes a visual liking to Dr. Halsey. So she looks like a younger Dr. Halsey with a little bit of her daughter, Miranda, in there, but really focusing on Dr. Halsey. And she is bathed in a blue, translucent light with dancing numbers and glyphs going through her body as she is processing, as she is learning and gathering information. You do see Cortana change colors every now and again. Typically, she is blue or purpley, sometimes a mix of the two, depending on her mood. If she's angry or upset, she could be more red or pink. If she gets to a point of rampancy, she will begin to be more red. So it kind of just depends on her mood at the time. Typically, we see her just in that blue and purple fashion with some white in there. But obviously, in the games, her model does change a little bit with the advancements in technology and whatnot. So, before we jump into this next question, I want to set a little bit of a preface here. Dr. Halsey places a viral termination code within Cortana's matrix, but as she was going through Cortana's processing, she could not tell whether she remained aware of it or not, or if Cortana had already isolated it and bypassed it. Dr. Halsey decides not to mention this to her, but while recording an excerpt in her journal, she took note of certain metrics which implied the viral termination code in Cortana's matrix would not have been likely to succeed anyways, and that the typical 7-year lifespan would not apply to her, just showing how unique and special Cortana really was. So the last question we're going to go over here is, do AIs live forever, or does Cortana live forever? We are not going to dive into that specifics of Cortana's lifespan here, but no, AIs do not live forever. The volitional AIs at that, they go through what is called rampancy, which is caused by the smart AI's neural matrix being unable to contain the near constant absorption of knowledge. They typically have a 7-year lifespan, and Cortana kind of has a different and special case. She was the first volitional AI to get access to Forerunner technology. So when she arrives on Alpha Halo, she absorbs unimaginable amounts of data, hundreds of thousands of years of data, which actually might have sped up her rampancy, might have caused her decline even quicker. It even talks about that it slows her down and makes her think a little less quick and a little less accurate just because of the absorption of data there. So unfortunately, no, volitional AIs do not live forever. There are a few instances where we see them dispensated after their 7-year lifespan. But again, Cortana is not a normal volitional AI. She is a one of one. She is one of the main reasons that humanity lives today. And it's an incredible story we will continue to dive into. Spartans, we did it. We now know a little bit more about Cortana, why she is so important, who created her, why she was created, her capabilities, all of these incredible things that make her who she is and make her one of the most important characters in the franchise. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for the support. It means the world to me. I love doing this. I love talking about Halo. It is truly my favorite thing. Let me know your favorite moment in the franchise with Cortana. I'd have to say Halo 3 for me is a really large one. Master Chief fighting his way through flood infested High Charity just to save her. That reunion, it hits a good string in the body. So again, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time, Spartans.